Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Motive Racing for the second round of the touring cars here at Oulton Park International. I hope you're all well. I'm Matthew Duffin. I'll be taking you through tonight's coverage here then, as we have John Boy and Emo Guy, currently the first two guys out on track. So let's get on board the John Boy in the Renault Megane, the air bubbles green and black livery. Oh, very strange line there from himself. Nevertheless, only an outlap, so it's not really going to ruin his time here. Good evening, and hope everybody's well. Hope we're all keeping well as well after yesterday's announcement of a further lockdown. So, for those who are now going to be off work, it's time to get the testing in, I suppose. Looking forward into these events that Motive Racing have coming up, and if you are part-time events, maybe some time to get some extra lap in then for yourselves as you head into the second round of the season. Evening to Jamie Brazier in the chat. I see Jamie Brazier here. Nice spectators. Well, good evening to Jamie Brazier. We're on board with John Boy then, who's currently in the session. He's about to come round the final couple of corners and start his lap. We've got Emo Guy in with us as well, aka Ian. Did a fine job on commentary last night with Andy, so nice to see Ian in the chat, in the session. Avu Alfonso with us as well. DJ Phil, a regular, and always turns up to these events. He's with us, as is Loda44, who's currently around. We have the only G currently sat in the pit lane. Smoky Devil as well in the pits. Fury is in the pit lane. Emo Guy's just gone back to the pits. X-Mart's still in the pit lane as well. And Gary 131. Now I do believe this is just a practice session and isn't actually the race. The starting grid will be as follows. I will find that for you and tell you now. So the starting grid tonight for Oulton Park will be Loda on pole position, with Antonio Loza, who's not yet here, starting P2. So if he doesn't turn up before the race, we will get then to DJ Phil Green in P3. Smoky Devil 4th, X Martin 5th, with Unorthodox in 6th place. Avu Alfonso 7th, Spliffmaster in 8th. Fury 9th, John Boy 10th, Ian aka Emo Guy in P11, Charlie Goff 12th, Gary 131 13th, and the only G will start 14th and dead last. So for these guys then, just a quick practice session here. I will run through the touring car standings when I can find them. There we go. So Gary 131 actually leads the championship after a first and second at Donington Park. A very good race for Gary 131, the man you see on screen, as we jump to John Boy at the end of his lap. Andy then not able to be with us tonight. He's currently second place with a first and a third. Charlie Goff sits in third place. He's not with us tonight neither. Emo Guy currently in fourth, with John Boy on screen now in P5. Fury in 6th place. Spliffmaster in 7th. Avu Alfonso P8. Unorthodox P9. X-Mart in P10. Smoky Devil 11th. DJ Phil Green 12th. And Antonio Loza, Loda and Swimpins yet to score. Yet to see Swimpins make an appearance in the touring cars at the moment. So We hope to see him later in the season. And evening to Bethany on the chat, and Jamie Brazier asking where Andy is tonight. Not sure, mate. Just got told he wasn't able to race tonight, which is a shame, as we always love to see Andy in the middle of battles all around the track. And an evening to Welshie. So very good evening to all these spectators. If you can, leave a like on the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. Give the video a big old thumbs up as well. If you want to get involved, head over to motiveracing.com or go to the Discord server and search for Motive Racing there, for where you'll be able to get involved in all the action. If you just want to watch the streams, get over to the Motive Racing YouTube channel, where they will be live all season. Tomorrow night bringing you GTE action. Tomorrow night bringing you GTE action. I do believe Andy will be back on commentary for that one. And then join us Tuesday night, where myself and Andy will be in the commentary box for the Clios. I think Ian will join us as well for the Tier 2s. So we'll be there for that one. Should be an absolute cracker. Currently a few cars just in the pits. Just John Boy and DJ Phil have actually set a lap time at the moment. Looks like we've lost Gary from the session, so I'm not quite sure where Gary's gone. Probably his wheel not working again. So hopefully we can get Gary in ahead of the race. Then that would be a disappointment if the championship leader cannot be here to start this first race here at Oulton Park. There's not many people out on track at the moment. X-Mart is currently out on track. Like I say, this is a little practice session at the moment. The real racing will begin in about 4 minutes time. No qualifying session here. They do a manual formation lap to get into the grid order. There's that bit of lag there. Signal indicates that we have got Spliff Master back in the session, so we're back up to 10 runners here. And hopefully we can get Gary back in. There we go. Gary has just joined the lobby. Jamie Brazier's just said check with Beth where he is. So I did. She's just told him to get back on, and he's rejoined. So there's Gary. If you missed the end of the LMP2 session last night, I'm sure you missed a few good impressions from Andy, trying to do a Scottish and a Welsh impression. Didn't do bad on the Scouse, but you missed a lot there. Good racing from Ben Parky in the LMP2. Took 2 race wins and unorthodox. Unfortunate, to be fair, to take 2 second places. He looked quick, but it wasn't to be for unorthodox last night. Lodder, who's just put himself into P2 then, just behind John Boy. All out on track so far. Currently 1:42.2 is the best time we have at the moment. So nothing that's, standing out at the minute, but 1:42. We're yet to see a BMW actually take to the track as yet, as Gary's got himself back in the session, so that's good to see. So yep, join us tomorrow night for the GTEs, join us Tuesday night for the Clio Cup, and then join us Motive Racing on Thursday night. We've got a bit of a special event, a 8v8, a Motive Racing versus a Simplay Motorsport. Now, myself coming from Simplay Motorsport, being the league owner and admin, I'm thoroughly looking forward to that. I am only a part-time commentator here at Motive Racing, but I enjoy coming here to commentate, a good group of lads here. But I'm really looking forward to Thursday night, an 8v8 round Silverstone Classic in the Group A touring cars, more older style touring cars, with the Nissan Skyline banned from that one. But it should be an absolute crackerjack of a race. 8 of the best from Motive and 8 of the best from Simplay going head to head in a sprint and feature race. I'm pretty sure we'll be bringing you the coverage live over at Simplay Motorsport. Me and Only G are going to just double check on how we're going to get the stream live on Motive Racing as well, but I'm sure there's a way we can get it live on both channels. So join us Thursday night 8 PM for that one. It's going to be an absolute fantastic battle between Simplay Motorsport and Motive Racing. A little mid-season break for Simplay in their calendar, and as these have got started and don't race on Wednesday, Thursday or Friday night, we've got a nice little midweek sort of special event race for the guys here at Motive Racing as well. So 11 cars in the lobby so far, and it's Lauder in the 141s with a 141.9, currently on pole position, excuse me. John Boy in second place with a 142.2, X-Mart with a 142.7, Smoky Devil with a 143 dead, Fury with a 143.9, and DJ Phil with a 151.7. Here is Gary just behind. I do believe that's either Emo Guy or Fury. It's Emo Guy, so he's just behind Emo Guy, then Gary and G, the only two in the BMW. So it's really interesting to see what the BMW can do around here. As you see, Gary just about to start a lap, and you will get one timed lap in here, so let's just jump on board Gary 131 for a lap inside the BMW. Cracking little car, really good off the start line, as you'd expect the BMW to be, as Gary gets a bit loose coming through the quick left hander there and on the brakes in towards the hairpin. Here at the international circuit of Oulton Park. Evening to Fury's mum, she's in the chat as well. Very good evening to Mrs. Fury. Miss Fury. Although we Gary then as he comes down towards the chicane, very tight. Watch that tyre wall on the inside. You do not want to be clipping that at all. That is one place you do not want to hit if you're trying to drive around quick at this circuit. You've also got the one as you come back up the hill, up towards the Cascades, I do believe it's called. Down towards Dealey, Lodge Corner. No, Dealey. First time. Nope, over the start straight to finish Gary's lap. And where's that going to put him in the session? Down the order, 2 seconds off of the pace. But nonetheless, Gary, I'm sure, will be happy with that. So Fury quickest in practice with Emo Guy second place, X-Mart third, Lauder in fourth, John Boy fifth, Avo Alfonso in P6, Gary seventh, Smoky Devil eighth, DJ Phil Green in P9, Spliffmaster, the only G, did not set a time. So we are going to do a manual start. It's going to be a manual formation lap, followed by the drivers getting into their positions and getting into their starting order as we go. Fury's granddad's also here, so an evening to Fury's granddad as well. Gary also in the chat, so an evening to Gary 131 then. Evil Scotsman in the chat, aka Ian, aka Emo Guy, so he's raring to go with a let's go. He says in the comments section he's up and ready for this one. So I'll just run you through the grid one more time. So it will be Lauder on pole position, followed by DJ Phil Green. Smoky Devil will start in P3. X-Mart will start 4th. Avo Alfonso P5. Spliffmaster will start in 6th place with Fury in 7th. John Boy in 8th. Emo Guy will start 9th. Gary will start P10 and the only G P11. So watch for the two BMWs coming through the pack then. So it is a manual formation lap. Let's see what happens. No mistakes now, Matt. No mistakes from me, buddy, don't you worry. Gary says he's not feeling confident in this car, so you see a bit of a scattered start at the moment. As we just wait for everybody to get into position. So Lauder should take P1. Lauder is on pole. DJ Phil has now lined up in second. So Smoky Devil should be third. Yes, he is. Xmark slots into fourth. Brilliant. Avu Alfonso slots into P5. Yeah. Spliff Master slots into P6. No, he's gone up into P5. He needs to just back off slightly and let Avu Alfonso through. So Avu should be in front here. Just got to wait for Spliff Master and Avu Alfonso to come back through. Yep, Avu looks like he's coming past Spliff Master now. No, he's not. Avu should be in front. So behind them, P7 is Fury, that is correct. John Boy running P8, Emo Guy P9, Gary 10, and the only G11. So the only one that's not right at the moment is Avu Alfonso and Spliff Master are currently need to just switch. And after their switch, we will have the correct grid order then. And there we go, the order has been changed now. Fury slots back in behind Spliff Master then. So we are ready then. A chance for the drivers to keep the heat in the tyres, warm the brakes up. You see Lauder there really getting the heat into them tyres in the air bubbles. Renault Megane with DJ Phil behind. Watch for the BMWs in the background. Watch for Emo Guy as well. And John Boyne. In fact, Fury. Watch for that from 7th to 11th. Watch all them try and come through the field. Cracking battle we should have. Fury's actually just dropped down into P9, so I'm not quite sure. Oh, Fury's had a spin. We've seen George Russell in the Formula 1 today, so for anybody who's not watched the Formula 1 yet, I apologise. Spoilers. Seen George Russell bin it on his own under the safety car today, and it looks like Fury's done a similar thing there. He's now got to catch up to Emo Guy and John Boy and just reclaim the 2 places. There we go. He's now back into position. As Lauder then has them coming up towards Druid's Corner, and we're coming now down towards Lodge. Lauder really holding the pack up here. Fury again on the grass, warming the tyres up now. When does Lauder choose to go then? So down into D-Elite we go, and when does he pull the trigger here? He's gone now, so Lauder has gone. We are away here for the first round, for round 2 at Oulton Park International in the touring cars, and we start here with Lauder currently on pole as he takes us away. DJ Phil in second place, Smoky Devil's third. The cameraman doesn't want to seem to pick them up. There's Xmark running P4, but look at Smoky Devil having a look at DJ Phil as they come down towards Cascades. Avu Alfonso then. John Boy's got a good start. He's already passed Spliff Master and Fury, who's dropped to the back of the pack. So an incident there between them two as they're well off the back as well. There is Fury and Spliff Master. So not the start they'd have wanted, but Avu Alfonso all over the back of Xmark here, and there's a gaggle of cars right behind DJ Phil. As they come into the hairpin, Avu can't tuck underneath. John Boy's having a look underneath for Avu Alfonso though, and he's pushing DJ Phil, who's gone very wide then, coming out the hairpin corner, and he's going to lose a lot of ground. Jeez, must have made a mistake, excuse me, as he's dropped well off the back of Gary 131 then, and DJ Phil from 2nd to 8th after half a lap. Not the start to this race he'd have wanted. Now Smoky Devil has been released by DJ Phil. Can he pull away and try and gain up on the back of Lauder? He's got X-Marked all over the back of him with Avu Alfonso running P4. Look at John Boy really pressuring Avu Alfonso here, and in fact he's got side by side, and as he comes through and up the hill, he's got the job done. So a good move there from John Boy. Emo Guy's going to try and follow him through as well as they come up towards the Druid's Corner. And he's got the inside line here, and through he goes. What can Gary 131 do? Is he able to make any inroads here on Avu Alfonso, who's lost 2 places in as many corners, you have to say, and Gary cannot get it done and has to tuck back in behind. But John Boy looking racy as he's gaining on the back of Xmark already, wants to get on with this one and really wants to just get the power down and crack on. Jamie Brazier asking if we have the same cameraman as at Bruno. Yeah, he's came with us from the Czech Republic, and look at Xmark there, got the first corner horribly wrong, and John Boy's going to be side by side with him as they come down towards Cascades then, and down in the inside he goes, and that's another position for John Boy. He's done well to get it in at Cascades. It's a tricky corner to overtake, but job done as they coming down Lakeside towards the Island Bend now. Lauder well in front. Smoky Devil's picked himself up a time penalty then, and he's still got these guys on the back. In fact, he nearly had the rear round there. Excuse me. Look at how late John Boy is on the brakes here. Absolutely fantastic. X-Mark P4, Fury P5. Gary had the move done on the exit of the Shell Oils corner. Now into the first of the two chicanes. Fulstons we go through, uphill top now. And who's that round? That's Smokey Devil, who's made a mistake himself. And he's gone round. DJ Phil's managed to get past. Where's the only G? Is he going to pass him? Yes, he is. As is Abu Alfonso. And Smokey Devil's gone from P2 all the way down to P9. Releasing John Boy into second place. And he's managed to get X-Mark coming through Knickerbrook and Clay Hill up towards Druids Corner then. Excuse me. Absolutely fantastic at the minute. X-Mark now having to defend from Emo Guy here then. Good racing early on here at Oulton Park International. It's a 13 minute 55 seconds left on the clock, and Gary's got a bit of ground to make up on Emo Guy as Emo Guy's looking to pressure X-Mark here for P3, the final podium place. Lauder's got a great start. He's 3 seconds up the road. Can John Boy, now John Boy's into P2 and clear of this battle, pull away and start to close in on Lauder, make some inroads on him. But a fantastic start then here for Emo Guy. Absolutely brilliant stuff from him from the back of the pack. I said to watch these guys by the back. Avo Alfonso's picked up a time penalty as well, and Fury's got past Smokey Devil now. Smokey Devil and them just chopping and changing on the timing screens. And look at these two side by side as they're going to come down towards Cascades. Cameraman hasn't picked them up. There we go, picks them up now. We come down towards Cascades, and Fury leads up the inside then into Cascades. P9 for Fury. DJ Phil on the back of the only G. I think that's G passing the only Phil. I think the only G's past DJ Phil there, should I say. Emo Guy has got past X-Marks. We've missed that one as we watched his teammate Fury get past Smokey Devil. But Emo Guy's done that one then, and he's now got 1.6 to catch to John Boy. John Boy trying to make inroads on this man Lauder, who we've not seen much of because he's just got his head down at the start now. But Gary then looking to make his chance and his opportunity to try and get past X-Mart then with the only G trying to gain on the back of Gary 131. What can X-Mart do about defending here? That gap between John Boy and Lauder has gone down to 2.9 seconds then. Avo Alfonso has got past DJ Phil, and Smokey Devil hasn't dropped off the back of Fury just yet. He has now, look, just gone within that second. Little triangle at the side of their names mean that they're within a second of each other then as they come up towards Druids Corner. Emo Guy has really got his head down here. He's within a second of John Boy, so he's really hustling John Boy here. Although John Boy is slowly catching Lauder, Emo Guy really making things difficult for John Boy then. And here he goes, coming round Old Hall Corner then at turn 1. Down the avenue towards Cascades. Tricky left-hander. It's a quick corner. Got to get it right. Don't want to run out wide there. That'll be a slow down penalty for run out wide. And look at Emo Guy. That gap's now within a half a second. He's really reeling in. John Boy here really having such a good race so far round the island bend down towards the hairpin corner, Shell Oils corner then. Now on the power up towards Fulstons they go here. Up over, watch that tyre wall on the inside, nicely done from Emo Guy and John Boy there. Now up over Hilltop down towards Knickerbrook again. Watch out for the second chicane. You've got the tyre walls on the inside of the second part of the chicane. Nicely done then, and the exit over Knickerbrook there. And he's with right on the back of John Boy. They've only caught Lauder up 2/10 in the first sector and second sector, sorry. So they're only getting 2-3 tenths altogether this lap at the minute on Lauder. So Lauder's still doing a cracking job, not getting the quicker lap times, 2 seconds slower than Emo Guy out last time round. So they're only slowly reeling him in. But with John Boy having to defend from Emo Guy here, who breaks hard in towards Lodge Corner and down through Deer Leap they go. Cracking drive this from John Boy and Emo Guy. Gary, you see in the background, slowly gaining on the back of X-Mart. Not the track for the BMW. The only G's must have had a problem. He's back down into P10. He's gaining on the back of Fury, Smokey Devil and DJ Phil. They're all in a little battle at the back. But this currently for P2 on track. The gap between John Boy and the lead is down to 2 seconds then. So John Boy still catching the leader, but he's having to defend from Emo Guy here. Not heavily defending neither, just enough to keep him where he needs to be. So let's see what they're going to do then as they come round the Shell Oils corner for the 6th time in this race. 5 racing laps, don't forget the first lap was a out lap, a manual warm-up lap, should I say. The gap to 2 seconds between Lauder, and here comes Emo Guy. Look at the run he's got then, coming up over Hilltop. He's going to be on the wrong side for Knickerbrook then as they head down in towards it, pretty much side by side. He's later on the brakes around the outside, but he cannot make it stick. Really late on the brakes, didn't make that one work. In the background, Gary is really on the back of X-Mart now, and he's really hassling him for P4. And with John Boy and Emo Guy making that slight mistake, just outbraking themselves ever so slightly, they've just got to watch themselves here. They could get in a 4-way scrap here. G down in 8th place on the back of Fury, then Spliff Master on the back of DJ Phil, so he must have made a mistake. If I know, he's recovering from a lap 1 incident with Fury then. He's all over the back of DJ Phil here. Only Smokey Devil and Avo Alfonso have a penalty. Gary though all over the rear end of X-Mart. And look at him, look at the run he's got as he comes out then through Deer Leap and down the start line on board with Gary 131 now. He looks like he's going to have the inside line as they come into turn 1, and he's got the job done. A sooty send-it manoeuvre there from Gary 131, and he's up to P4. John Boy though has Emo Guy all over the back of him right now. And that gap 2.2 seconds between Lauder and John Boy. So Lauder doing a cracking job at the minute, just maintaining that gap. But with these two trying to scrap. In fact, what's happened to Gary? Oh, he's lost out. He was up into P4. He'd got past Exmore and he's lost out. Must have made a mistake coming through Cascades then, because he was up the inside at turn 1 at Old Hall. Had the job done. But he's now got to do it again. Gap back up to a second now then. DJ Phil has been overtaken by Spliff Master and Fury. G up into P7. So not the race for G. The two BMWs of G and Gary, on track, not having the best of shows here. 5th and 7th at the moment. DJ Phil's just picked himself up a time penalty. Lauder though, gap 1.7 seconds, and John Boy's round. He's lost it coming through the first part of Knickerbrook, and he's going to have to wait and wait and wait for Gary and Exmart to come through. They've got through. He can get going again now. So Emo Guy has been released from John Boy and can get his head down to chase Lauder with just over 17 minutes remaining in this one. Gary 131, the man to watch at the moment then, for a podium over Exmart. Can he get the job done? He's got 0.5 of a second to Exmart just in front. Remember, he got the job done last lap at Old Hall Corner, but it all went wrong coming through Cascades. We missed that as we jumped on with Emo Guy and John Boy. But Exmart, not the best of run coming through the final corner and up and down through Deer Leap. Look at Gary now as we come up to Old Hall. All over the back of him then. So round Old Hall we go for the 8th time in this race. Down the avenue. Slight right-hand bend is this bit, flat out, then up, look, pick your braking zone for Cascades. Hard, tricky overtaking manoeuvre, but Gary's having a sniff up the inside and can't think of getting it done there. He's stuck to him like a leech, is Gary. He cannot get away from him here. Exmart cannot escape from the clutches. Round the island bend and coming down to the Shell Oil corner. Now Gary looked like he had the car all sideways, but he's managed to keep that under control. And can he stick one up the inside? No, he can't. Up towards Fulstons we go then. The first of 2 chicanes here. Is Gary the man to get on the podium? Emo Guy's within a second of Lauder, so he's really got his head down and got the laps in. At the moment, that gap falling down to 0.5 of a second now. Gary a bit closer to Exmart, so we'll stay with this for the time being as they head over Hilltop down towards Knickerbrook. Gary cannot get the move done, but Exmart's made a mistake and rejoins just as he touches Gary on the side, so that's that one done. Look at Emo Guy now then as they're coming up Clay Hill towards Druids Corner. Emo Guy all over the back of Lauder. Lauder had a cracking race so far, and in the final 5.5 minutes he's gone a bit wide, and Emo Guy up the inside and will take it on the exit of Druids. It's a double apex corner pretty much, and Emo Guy's got it done really, really well. Into Lodge Corner we come now, and down through Deer Leap to start the 9th lap. 5 minutes 15 remaining on the clock, and Gary then still on the back of Exmart, and all the hard work Gary's done so far he's got to do again here, as he's got to make sure that he can keep on the pressure of Exmart. He wants another podium. It'll be 3 podiums in a row, and he's all sideways. And how has he held on to that one? I tell you now, that's a fantastic save from Gary 131. Really has hung on to that, and he's pushing. You can tell he's pushing. Look at the way he's driving the car. He's making sure it's got nothing left to give. He's absolutely ragging it round Oulton Park. He's got alongside Exmart as they headed towards the island bend. Gary will have the inside line, and Exmart's wide, and he's off. Can he keep it out the tyre wall? Indeed he does. John Boy may get another place here then. No, John Boy a bit too far. In fact, John Boy had a mistake there and went into the gravel on the outside bit. Gary has that job done, and his P3 now really forced the move there coming through the island bend. It was all or nothing. We've seen him sideways out of Old Hall, and it was all or nothing from Gary, leaving nothing on the line there. Lauder leaving it late on the brakes, I tell you that. Not much of them brakes left, surely. That much he's had to put them down there. Blaming hell. 4 minutes on the clock then. And it's Emo Guy from Lauder. Gary P3, Exmart now 4th, John Boy in 5th. Avo Alfonso running in 6th place, Spliffmaster in 7th, Fury in 8th place, Smoky Devil 9th, and DJ Phil 10th. The only G has retired from this race, but Lauder still within a second of Emo Guy, and he's not giving it up easily at the moment. He's really making life difficult for Lauder here. He's really making it hard for Emo Guy to just pull away, not allowing him any rest. But Emo Guy's wary to this, and he's clever enough, 9/10 quicker on the last lap. So Emo Guy's aware of the situation that's going on at the moment. He's aware that everybody around him, and I'm sure he knows with only 3 minutes left on the clock that he's got plenty of time here to just maintain the gap and manage the gap here then, to really get up a few more places. A few more places. He's in the lead to get up a few bit further up the road compared to Lauder, who's slowly falling into the clutches of Gary 131. He's drove a great race though as Lauder. Absolute fantastic stuff from him to be P2 on track ahead of Gary 131, who you see there in the background coming through the chicane. Up over Hilltop comes Lauder now. And he's done really well in this race. To say he didn't have the best of finishes in the previous rounds, he's done absolutely fantastic to get this one firing in all directions, in all positive directions as well. He's done absolutely brilliant here. I mean, where did Lauder finish in race 1 and 2 at Donington? He didn't score points in either of the races, which is a shame for Lauder, you know, but he didn't score points in them two. So his chance of first points tonight, and his first points could be on the podium. Then Gary 131 now. Lauder must have made a mistake somewhere. In fact, Lauder has he got a slowdown penalty because Gary has just driven past him like he's going backwards. And Lauder now with 1 minute 50 remaining has got to deal with Gary 131. He's right on the tail of him. I'm wondering if Lauder had a slowdown penalty there. Humble Racer 45 in the chat saying the commentator is so good, my wife thought I was listening to an American football game. Oh well, thank you very much. American football, who's your team in the NFL? Green Bay Packers fan myself, not quite sure how they're getting on, but Gary 131's very wide coming out of Cascades. Enough about the NFL, we're back to the racing at Oulton Park as Lauder's back into P2 and Gary's still giving it his absolute all, just making silly mistakes. We see this from Gary quite often. He just makes 1 or 2 mistakes that sometimes costs him a race podium or even a race win. We've seen it quite a few times over at Simplay Motorsport. He can be in a great position, but just one little mistake from Gary really ruins his race. Hopefully that's not the case here, as this is potentially the final lap. The race Emo Guy just coming down towards Knickerbrook now. 48 seconds left on the clock. Humble Racer's a Steelers fan. Oh dear, my father-in-law's a Steelers fan. That's a shame for you, pal. I know you're unbeaten this season, but still a shame. John Boy, 5th, hasn't made any inroads on Exmart whatsoever. and currently has a time penalty as well. Should be fine though, as he's well in front of Avo Alfonso. But Lauder here really driving well over Gary 131. Back to Emo guys. We're coming down towards Lodge Corner and Deer Leap for the 11th time, and we may just sneak one extra lap in here. So Gary will be loving that fact that he's got one more chance of getting Lauder. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Yep, we're starting lap 12, so this will be the final lap of the race. Where's Gary gone? Oh, he's been in the wall. He's crashed his no front bumper. Exports into P3, and I say about Gary makes slight mistakes. He's made another one, and Gary 131 not on the podium. This could be the first race that he's not going to finish on the podium at all. Oh, he's done well to save it. A wiggle left, a wiggle right, and he's wiggling all around this track. He's doing the okey cokey, and he's not turning around there because he's managed to keep that car pointing forward. John Boy though has P4, but he has a time penalty, so Gary could recover that one. Exmort has been gifted a podium here through Gary's mistakes. But it's this man Emo guy who's not put a foot wrong. He's come from by the back of the grid and has got up towards the front and has absolutely driven that Renault Megane, the monster liveried. He's been like a monster on the track. The evil Scotsman has flew around it today and has been absolutely fantastic for his money at watching this. Gary though, up over Hilltop, is on the back of John Boy, and one mistake from X-Martin, Gary and John Boy could be on them in a flash, and Gary's going to go around the outside of Knickerbrook. He's really going to force the move, and gets it done. That is a superb move from Gary. He's given the place back to John Boy there. He obviously thought it was a bit aggressive. I saw nothing wrong with it myself. It was good hard racing that. But Gary gives him the place back. Back to Emo Guy, into Lodge Corner for the final time. And he's going to take the win here in race 1 of the evening. The sprint race, a flash of the lights for Emo Guy. A great win for him. This man, Lauder, has drove an absolutely fantastic, hung on to the lead for so long, and he's going to get a podium here. X-Mart's going to come home with a P3, a good drive for him. Gary has done John Boy then, and will get John Boy for P4. John Boy will come home 5th place with a time penalty. So I think even if he'd have got in front of Gary there, he'd have dropped back to P5. Avo Alfonso will take 6th. Spliffmaster is going to heavily defend from Fury, who just picked himself up a time penalty. So Spliffmaster 7th, Fury in P8. Smoky Devil is going to come home in P9 then. So decent race for Smoky Devil. And DJ Phil, oh, he's crawling. What's going off here with DJ Phil? Plenty of fuel left in the tank, but DJ Phil crawling around the track then. The Evil Scotsman, yes, in the chat, he's happy with that one. Gary says well done Emo, or he says WD Emo. Obviously well done. Well done, well driven, well dominated. Could mean anything, that could, from Garrett. We're just waiting then for DJ Phil Green to finish, as Only G retired from this race. And around Lodge Corner he comes, down through Deer Leap. In fact, he's not going to get time to finish this one. So Emo Guy wins the first race of the night then in the sprint race here. From Lauder, who, good job from Lauder, not scored any points yet, and his first set of points are a podium. X-Mark gets third. Gary threw it away in P4. John Boy 5th. Avo Alfonso P6. Spliffmaster in 7th. Fury 8th. Smoky Devil 9th. DJ Phil Green 10th. And the Only G retired from the race on lap 8. Cracking drive though from the Emo Guy. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the feature race in just a short moment. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, for the second part of tonight's action. We've got Smokey Devil currently glitching out in the pit lane. Yep, we're live then for the feature race here, for the qualifying for the feature race, sorry. So the qualifying is everybody gets to qualify, no top 5, cannot. Everybody entitled to qualify here in this session. I hope you enjoyed the first part of the race, because we've got a cracking second part for you right now. Lodder, the first man and only man on track at the moment. We see 2 cars on the track map leaving the pits. Will be on track now, that is Avo Alfonso and Fury. In the night time then, the evening, as we've lost the light, it's the sun's dropped. You see the lake behind the trees there. It's a cold autumn's evening here at Oulton Park. Should be an absolute cracking session in the second race. So everybody gets to qualify for this one. No one has to sit out, no one has to miss qualifying. Everybody gets to qualify, and everybody has the opportunity then to really put one step forward, show who got the overall pace. So currently out on track at the moment is Lodder, you see on screen. Fury is out on track with Avo Alfonso. X-Mart is next up on the track then, with John Boy and Gary in between them two on track. Someone else just came out the pits. I believe that Smoky Devil's just left the pits. We've got Emo Guy coming out the pit lane now, so obviously wanted to buy himself a bit of time, as is Spliffmaster and DJ Phil. Emo Guy out the pit lane now. So Lodder then, the first man to set a lap, and he's coming into the final corner, and has got a lap time invalid, as he's got that horribly wrong. So Smoky Devil, no, Fury will be the next man to set a lap time then, as he's coming into Lodge corner now. So let's see what he can do next time around. Lodder drove very well for a P2 in that last race, but take nothing away from Emo Guy. Drove an absolutely fantastic race, an absolutely fantastic. I'm lost for words, because Emo Guy qualified by the back, obviously championship, reverse championship standings, and just came through the pack to just fly through it and really do well. So a great win for Emo Guy then. DJ Phil still currently the only man in the pit lane. Surprised he's not out on track, wanting to get all that track time in. It's all about trying to get the laps in here. They're not able to at the moment. So what can we expect to see? Fury will set the first timed lap of the session, as it would have been Lodder, but Lodder got a lap time invalid for track limits at the final corner. So Lodder has a lap time invalid, so does X-Mart. But what can Fury do then? We head in towards Knickerbrook. Beautifully taken, got to get this last part right still. Up Clay Hill we go now for Fury. Just jump on the roof camera. This is what Fury can see if he's racing cockpit view. If he's on the roof or bonnet cam, he's pretty much got something like this. So let's see what Fury's got. Fury's mum and Fury's granddad in the live stream watching, as always. No doubt Fury's there watching as well. Here's a flash if you are. It's a Lodge corner now, then he's about to come over the start-finish line. So what can Fury do on his first timed lap here? Crosses the line and does a 1:42.8, but Avo Alfonso 1.008 quicker than him. Will be X-Mart to do the next lap, but his lap time is invalid, so it will be Gary 131. What time can Gary 131 do here then? Said in the comments that the BMW either struggles with no grip or gets all the grip, so he's really struggling in the BMW. Maybe the autumn conditions not suiting the BMW. Currently 1.9 off the pole position time at the moment. What can John Boy do here as he's about to cross the line? Let's have a look, see. Goes up to P2 at the minute, half a second or 0.6 of a second off the back of John Boy. What about Smoky Devil? What's he capable of then? Is he capable of putting it in front of Gary, Fury, John Boy, or possibly on provisional poles? We have 9.5 minutes remaining then in this session. What can Smoky Devil do with this one? coming round now and goes P5 effectively at the moment. Emo Guy next to do a lap time. So let's see what Ian can do. Crosses the line, goes into P4. Spliffmaster next to do a lap. Got Campos game 1, Vamos Alfonso, Vamos! Spliffmaster about to cross the line at the moment, crosses it, and that must have been a no, goes into P5, so a good lap time from him. Lauder then crosses the lap, the start-finish straight, goes into P4, so finally gets a lap time in. What is Xmark going to do? Was that Gary crossing the line just then? No, we've just jumped on board Gary though, and he's all around. He's done the okey dokey that time and he's turned himself around. That is what it's all about. Back to Xmark then. Can he put a lap time in? The only person, him and DJ Phil, the only two at the moment to not set a lap time. Avo Alfonso's time hasn't been beaten yet. 6/10 of a second. John Boy needs to beat that one, and Xmark gets in on the board. What is John Boy going to do here then? Crosses the line and goes 7/10 quicker, so Avo Alfonso needs to find a 10th and a half from somewhere at the moment. DJ Phil, oh, that was somebody off there at the Shell Oil's hairpin. And here's DJ Phil, the only man without a lap time in so far. Fury coming up over Hilltop. There's Lauder as well, he's just coming towards Hilltop as well. Spliffmaster coming towards the back end of his lap. Smoky Devil sat in the pit lane at the moment. Spliffmaster 1.4 up, so a good lap time so far this could be from Spliffmaster. Really on for... He's got good pace to Spliffmaster, he just can't seem to put it together consistently at times, and that is sometimes what lets him down. Nevertheless, I'm sure he'll want to get up there in this qualifying session. For the 12 people who's live and watching with us right now, if you give the video a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, if you want to head over to Motive Racing to check out what they do. Spliffmaster goes 1.6 seconds quicker, so good time that from Spliffmaster. We see Lauder coming down to start his next lap. If you haven't already and want to get involved with racing here at Motive Racing, head over to www.motiveracing.com or check out their Discord server for more information. As Lauder crosses the line and no improvement this time round. Gary currently down in P7. Pretty shocking that is from him. 2.2 off the pole time of Fury now. Fury has gone into pole position, so a heck of a lap that from Fury. DJ Phil got a timing good enough for 9th place so far. What can Xmark do? Emo Guy's in the pits, back out the pits he comes. Xmark goes up to P8 and Gary does a time good enough to take him into P4. John Boy second then, so the top 6 cars separated by 6/10 of a second, pretty much 7/10. So Emo Guys takes Spliffmaster in P5, Gary up to P4. Avo Alfonso then in at P3, just 2.5 tenths behind Fury. John Boy a 10th off of Fury. Fury the man on provisional pole at the moment. What is DJ Phil doing? 5.3 off the leader. He's down at the Shell Oil hairpin, half a second up this time around. So let's see what DJ Phil can put together here. I'm sure he'll be wanting to make some inroads to get a bit close to Smoky Devil. Gets the chicane a bit wrong there. Manages to keep it on the track though. Smoky Devil coming up towards at the exit of Nickelbrook. Up towards Druid's Corner he heads now. He's got Avo Alfonso hot on his heels, and a flash of the lights from Avo Alfonso there. Fans in the chat from Avo saying Vamos! Vamos Alfonso, let's go boy, let's get up there, let's get P1, let's get provisional pole. Cheering for him. Lauder has a lap time invalid due to track limits. Campos Gaming clearly big fans of Avo Alfonso, who is slowing down, so must have taken a bit of track limits. In fact, he's gone back into the pit lane. Is that wise with 5 minutes left on the clock? I'm not 100% sure about that one then. Fury goes round, no improvement that time round. What can John Boy do? He's right on the back of Gary then, so getting the slipstream from this man Gary. 131. Not the best of exits from that corner from Gary there, but nevertheless, let's see what he can do. DJ Phil hasn't improved. Gary crosses the line, no improvement. John Boy though goes quicker. Great lap from John Boy. Was just over a 10th behind Fury. He now has his 7/10 up on Fury, and that's Gary all over the curb and losing the rear end onto the grass. He's managed to keep it pointing in the right direction. We're just struggling for grip out there, is Gary. Spliffmaster will be the next one to set a lap time, so let's see what he can do. Everybody's out on track with 4.5 minutes remaining at the moment, so let's see what these boys can do then. Spliffmaster over the line and only stays in P5. Emo Guy, work to do from 6th on the grid at the moment, provisionally. Lauder at the back of a trio then, one of which is Smoky Devil. So let's see what Smoky Devil can do here. DJ Phil has a lap time invalid. Smoky Devil improves and goes up to P3, so good lap time from Smoky Devil. What about Lauder? Can he get anything this time around? No, he cannot. Xmark, couple of cars in front of Xmark then, not quite sure who they are. One is John Boy then, so that means one must be Gary. 131, can John Boy improve? No, he can't. What about Gary? No improvement from Gary as well, and he's on the grass. He gets a lovely little wiggle there. No improvement still. Where is Emo Guy? Down into P7, crosses the line now. No improvement this time around, so we'll have to keep an eye on him and see what sort of lap times he can do. Just trying to find who the next man to cross the line is. I do believe it will be Spliffmaster, so we'll go back on board Spliffmaster. Let's jump on the roof camera and see what it's like out there for him. You see him coming up the hill then towards Druid's Corner. Tricky part of the track, the double apex right-hander. Long right-hander, you've got to be patient to bow. There's the first apex, there's the second. You don't necessarily have to hit the second apex. It's all about just trying to get it, getting that rhythm, getting that flow around the circuit, get a nice feel for it. Let's see what Spliffmaster can do here then on his last lap. On his lap here. DJ Phil has another lap time invalid, so he won't improve again. Currently 6 seconds down, and no improvement there then for Spliffmaster. Who's next to cross the line? It will be Fury with only one headlight. It's as if the car's winking at his only one headlight on. Let's see what Fury can do then as he's up through Deer Leap and over the hill he goes. Crosses the line, needs 0.7 of a second, cannot gain a single bit there. Smoky Devil next to cross the line as John Boy I think just crossed it. No improvement for Smoky Devil there. Where is Emo Guy? It's Gary. There's John Boy crossing the line, no improvement. Gary does improve and goes up into P3. Heck of a lap time that from Gary. Avro Alfonso was provisional pole at the time. He's now down into P5, 9/10 off of everybody. Lauder's in the pits, no improvement for Avro Alfonso. Emo Guy's just improved into P5 and Xmark stays last at the moment. So 1 minute 5 left on the clock for most of these guys. This is going to be their last lap. Spliffmaster may sneak in one more, but he'll probably be the only one to do that. Lauder has pitted and is done with qualifying for this time. Currently P8, the man who got P2 in the sprint race currently sits in 8th position then as it stands at the moment. Here comes Spliffmaster. Smoky Devil's gone into the pit, so he feels he couldn't improve any on his final run. Shame for Smoky Devil. Good qualifying though that at the moment. P4 currently. Spliffmaster will cross the line for one more lap. And what's he going to do as he crosses the line? No improvement. So it's all about this final lap then. What is Spliffmaster going to do? Where's Fury? Currently 7/10 off the pole position. Is he the man to take pole away from John Boy then? This will be the first man to finish. And it is Fury going to get pole. No, he's put it in the pits. It clearly didn't feel like he was improving there. John Boy then, provisional pole. He's got Gary behind him, 7/10. Gary needs to take the pole unless this man's up on his time. Is John Boy going to improve as he comes up over Deer Leap now? What's the time going to be as he crosses the line? No improvement for John Boy. Gary does improve, but still only good enough for P2. Not quite the pole position he wanted. Avo Alfonso currently behind DJ Phil, who's got a lap invalid. Alfonso improves up into P4, but then Emo Guy goes into P2, knocking Gary down to third, and X-Mark crosses the line. Cannot improve there then. So John Boy, Emo Guy, Gary, your top three at the moment. But Spliffmaster still on a lap, only needs 1.2 to gain on the pole sitters. What can he do here then? Spliffmaster, the last remaining person on track to complete his qualifying session. And all being well, may move up the grid here. The top six separated by 7/10 of a second. Alfonso and Emo Guy on their last runs, improving, knocking Fury down to P5. Excuse me, knocking Smoky Devil down to P6 as well. Which is unfortunate because them lads had a very good qualifying, but John Boy on provisional pole as it stands at the moment. And here comes Spliffmaster down through Deerleap, up over the crest he goes, and crosses the line. We'll see if he's improved now. No improvement. So John Boy then sits in pole position with Emo Guy leaving it late to get P2. Gary 131 in P3. Avo Alfonso left it late for 4th. Fury sits P5. And we'll go through the rest of the grid. So row 1 then sees John Boy on pole position with Emo Guy in P2. Gary on row 2 in the BMW alongside Avo Alfonso. Row 3 sees Smoky Devil alongside, sees Fury alongside Smoky Devil. On row 4 we've got the Spliffmaster alongside Lodder, and on the row 5 and the back row of the grid, X-Mart and DJ Filter. Let's see what's going to happen here. I expect Gary and the BMW to get a good start. Whether he can keep it there, we've seen him struggle all night in qualifying and in race 1. 24 lap race this is, so whether Gary can keep it on the track, never mind in P3, he's just got to keep it on the track. He doesn't want to have a repeat of race 1 where he was making mistakes all over the place. Let's see what Gary can do here. Just a word to all the fans, the drivers have to do a mandatory pit stop in the feature race. They can do that any time from lap 8 onwards, so lap 8 onwards is when the drivers can pit. For the 13 people watching, please give this video a big thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do subscribe. If you want to get in touch with Motive Racing about potentially joining, head over to motiveracing.com, their brand new website set up just before this season started. Or you could also head over to their Discord server. If you're just a fan though, like I say, give the video a big thumbs up and a subscribe to the channel. I'll wait for the drivers to ready up. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. So the drivers have readied up now then, and it looks like we're about ready to go here for the feature race. 24 laps of Oulton Park. And it's green and we're away. Watch for Gary from row 2 in the BMW, who always gets a cracking start, and indeed he has done again here. He's already alongside Emo Guy. John Boy covered off Emo Guy, and Gary around the outside of the both of them into turn 1, and leads coming down towards Cascade already on lap 1 then. Cracking start from Gary. We don't see any dramas elsewhere at the moment. John Boy down to P2. Emo Guy as his teammate Fury. Great start from Fury up into 4th. Avo Alfonso a little wide there on the AstroTurf, but manages to keep it together. Spliffmaster up to P6. Smoky Devil has dropped to 7th then. Lodder 8th, X-Mark 9th, DJ Phil 10th. Not the starts that they'd have wanted, but this man Gary 131 as John Boy breaks very late and tries to go around the outside, but that's going to allow X-Mark up the inside on the exit to the hairpin corner then. No, X-Mark doesn't think about it there. But Gary 131 cracking start in that BMW. We know the BMW gets a great start, and it's just demonstrated it now. Now it's about keeping it together. He's got John Boy all over his rear bumper, and John Boy's going to want to get past Gary 131 as soon as he can. In towards the Knickerbrook chicane. Left, right, left, right, and look at that! John Boy gets the cut back on Gary mid-chicane. Oh, he can't do it side by side at the exit to Knickerbrook. Uphill they're going to go towards Druids Corner now. Up Clay Hill, up towards Druids Corner. Emo Guy and Fury sat in the background watching this one develop. Gary's got the run up the hill though, and can Emo Guy snick up the inside? No, he can't. Fury having to be patient in P4 as well, just waiting for this to unfold. Look at this battle for first on track. In fact, Gary started to pull away. John Boy's had a slowdown. John Boy has had a slowdown penalty. He's dropped right off the back of this pack. Spliffmaster and Alfonso have gone past. In fact, John Boy's back past Spliffmaster as he ran very wide. at Lodge Corner, but Emo Guy and Fury now P2 and 3. Avo Alfonso on the back of Fury then as we look in towards Old Hall and down towards the avenue we go. Can Emo Guy get on the back of Gary 131 then and do anything about him here? Cracking start to this feature race. 24 laps to go. 22 laps to go, so 23 laps. That's Fury off! It cascades! Got it all wrong, him and his teammate. And off it cascades goes Fury. Avo Alfonso now running P2. I'm sure Campos will be over the moon with that one. John Boy back up to third. Smoky Devil, good couple of laps for him up into P4. But Emo Guy and Fury P5 and 8. Spliffmaster and Lodder separating the two of them then. Can Avo Alfonso do Gary a favour and hold this pack up and let Gary get away here? Vamos, I'm sure Campos will be saying to Avo Alfonso then. So lap 2 of 24. You can pit lap 8 onwards. I think John Boy's got another slowdown as he's dropped off the back there and lets the Smoky Devil through in towards Knickerbrook. Gets it horribly wrong to Smoky Devil. In fact, John Boy still doesn't fight him too hard on the exit of Knickerbrook. Then up Clay Hill we go. Now John Boy's slowdown penalty would have been removed from his screen and he can fight hard back again up towards Druids. He's just got in front of Smoky Devil, but we'll have to give him the respect. And does Smoky Devil just tap John Boy? He does! And John Boy's done well to save it. They lean on each other at the end of Druids corner. And now this is really inviting Spliffmaster and Emo Guy. Fury at the back of this pack as well. And Emo Guy's going to send one up the inside of two of them. A typical hashtag Sooty send it manoeuvre. Fury's capitalised on a mistake from Spliffmaster as well. Fantastic drive there. Ricardo Jimenez, high from Spain. Come on, Abu. So clearly an Alfonso fan. Fury up to P6. Emo Guy up to P4 with a time penalty at the moment. But I'm sure that's not going to worry him too much. Smoky Devil, though, running in a really strong P3. Cracking drive from the Smoky Devil. And who's that off? It's Emo. No, it's Emo Guy. He's gone off at Druid. He's on the grass. He's mowing the lawn. Emo Guy down in P9 and he could lose out to DJ Phil here for P10, and I'm not quite sure what happened there, but he's lost a lot of places. Your sprint race winner is currently down the order and not doing what he wanted here. Gary 131 leads from Avo Alfonso then, who's being caught by Smoky Devil. He's got John Boy flashing his lights all over the back of Smoky Devil. Fury winking at John Boy with just one light on. He's took too much curb at Knickerbrook and runs very wide, allowing Spliffmaster to possibly take the advantage of that one. Nope, Spliffmaster couldn't get that job done, but Fury hit the curb hard there. I tell you what, these monster cars, they've got a lot of work to do. The monster liveried Renault Megans struggling on the opening laps here. Smoky Boy gaining on the back of Avo Alfonso. In fact, as Alfonso had a slowdown penalty, as Smoky Devil around the outside and loses the rear, manages to catch the slide. This is really going to allow John Boy back through up on the back of Smoky Devil then. And look at the speed difference they've got coming through Lodge Corner down towards Old Hall. John Boy makes a move up the inside, and that is job done from John Boy. Oh, a bit of a twitch from Smoky Devil, and onto the grass goes the Smoky Devil. Fury still defending heavily from Spliffmaster, but wants to gain on the back of Smoky Devil. This the view from the roof of Fury then. You see a gaggle of cars behind Alfonso. Gary's 5.5 seconds up the road here. So absolutely fantastic stuff. Oh, Smoky Devil's touched the grass and he span round. Going into the hairpin, he's had to let Lodder through. Where's X-Mart? There is X-Mart. Possibly an unsafe rejoin that may need looking at. Emo Guy's on a charge now to try and gain on the rest of this pack. John Boy's now being released to Avo Alfonso. What can these guys do about catching Gary 131? Because at the moment they can't do a lot. Gary is the man to beat so far. And Avo Alfonso currently running P2. A couple of fans in the chat for him. He's got John Boy hot on his heels with Fury not far behind John Boy. Spliffmaster currently P5. Emo Guy is gaining on the back of Smoky Devil, who's also looking all over the back of X-Mark. This for P7 on the track at the moment. In fact, Smoky Devil's going to look up the inside. A bit of a door rub there between Smoky Devil and X-Mark then. And into Lodge corner he goes. And up the inside. Great move from Smoky Devil. Really looking racy in this second race. Now can Emo Guy get the job done on X-Mark as well. This for P8 now between X-Mark and Emo Guy. Emo Guy really quick last time round. In fact, it was only slower than Gary 131. Second quickest on the track. And he's doing an absolute fantastic job at the moment, but hasn't got through. Alfonso then has John Boy on his rear for P2 at the moment. Don't forget, has the time penalty, so it's not going to go in his favour come the end of this race. We're on lap 5 of 24 at the moment, and John Boy all over the rear of Avo Alfonso then. What can he do from this position? Avo Alfonso, he's drove a good race so far, like we saw Lauder in race 1, had a good stint in the lead, and then at second place he eventually managed to keep hold of second place due to Gary's poor performance in race 1, but Gary's 8 seconds in the lead here. He doesn't have to push as hard like he did race 1, he can just take his time. As into Knickerbrook these guys come now, and Alfonso a bit wide maybe on exit, but gets the rest of it done well. Nicely done there from Alfonso. Up Clay Hill in towards Druids we come now, and the double apex right-hander John Boy hasn't got the move done yet. Fury still ahead of Spliffmaster, who's dropped off the back. Emo Guy though has passed Lauder and X-Mark, so has Lauder made a problem somewhere? Emo Guy now though on the back of Smoky Devil for P6. Smoky Devil up to 6 and he's wide at the exit to Druids, and Emo Guy will get through him nice and easy, as does X-Mark. Lauder, the man who got P2, down in 9th at the moment. John Boy has just got past Avo Alfonso, but is Avo going to have a look back at him into turn 1? No, can't get the move done there, so Avo down into P3 now then, and we'll have Fury on the back of him. But look, they're both still on, both of them gaining on the back of John Boy here. This battle isn't over yet. Avo is not going to make it easy for John Boy, that can be that's assured. Spliffmaster will want to get on the back of this battle. The gap to Gary's just come down slightly, but Gary is at the hairpin corner. In fact, Gary's had a problem. I think Gary's had a problem. The gap's really come down. It's been half nearly. So I think Gary's had a bit of a spin somewhere, bit of a moment. And Gary has had an absolute mare this lap. Not really needing to push his Gary, but yeah, he's made that mistake. Or does he know that John Boy's now back into P2? And he may need to get a hurry up. Well, he may now, especially now the gap's closed down. Avu has dropped off the back of John Boy here then. So what can Avu do as we come on to the back of Knickerbrook? Fury just sat behind. I think Fury had a bit of a slowdown. So he's as well dropped off the back of Avo Alfonso then. Smoky Devil regaining on the back of X-Mark. He got past him earlier, ran wide, and X-Mark came back through. So he's trying to get back past him, so we're at lap 6 here. So I do believe this is where the drivers are allowed to pit, or was it lap 8? I'll double check this now. Was lap 8, sorry, so I apologise, it was lap 8. Smoky Devil has passed X-Mark there. John Boy running P2, 4.3 behind this man Gary. You see John Boy there in the background. Avo Alfonso still trying to defend off Fury, who's dropped Spliffmaster, so he must have had a problem because he was a lot closer than that last time round. Spliffmaster has got Emo Guy hunting him down here. Emo Guy on the comeback drive here, and is Fury going to look up the inside at the hairpin corner, and hashtag Sutty sends one up the inside. Cracking move there from Fury. Into P3 he goes. He'll be absolutely delighted with that manoeuvre. Cracking stuff. X-Mark still on the back of Smoky Devil then. And I want that place back. Lauder just doesn't seem to have a pace like he did in race 1, or he can gain on anybody here. So running down in a lonely knife position. DJ Phil not having the best of times as well. 51 seconds off the rest of the pack. He looks like he's been in the wars a bit, does DJ Phil. Avo Alfonso though into P4 now as Fury's got past him. He's off the podium. We'll see what the rest of the race brings. These guys hunting down Gary 131. X-Mark still on the back of Smoky Devil. And this the view from the roof of X-Mark. You see Smoky Devil just in front. In fact, Smoky Devil looked a bit wide there, manages to keep it together. Nicely done there for both them guys. Emo Guy with a time penalty is catching on the back of Spliff Master then. Has a slowdown penalty, you see there, you heard him just get off the throttle and slow the car down a bit. In fact, he's doing it again, so that slowdown penalty clearly not gone for Emo Guy. Probably picked that up from running a bit wide at the exit of Lodge Corner. Down through Old Hull we go. Let's see what Emo Guy can do. He's got to gain on the back of Spliff Master if he wants anything out of this race. Fury gaining on John Boy. Now he's taking Alfonso with him, to be fair. Alfonso sticking to the back of Fury here. Not close, not really close with putting him under pressure, but doing a fine job, and Fury's hit the tyre wall! Fury's hit the tyre wall then. He's going to rejoin. He's going to lose out to Spliff Master then and drop down to P5. And how devastating that is for him, because he was gaining on John Boy, but has clipped the tyre wall there and lost the rear end of the car. He's got all this hard work to do again of getting past Avo Alfonso. That's promoted Avo to third and Spliff Master into P4. They can pit as from this lap. So will Fury come in early and think of undercutting a few drivers in front of him? Either way, pure devastation for Fury there. As you just seen him clip the wall, and it's horrible when that happens. Spliff Master very wide at the exit to Druids, and Fury's managed to get through there. It looks like we've had a bit of a power cut here then at Oulton Park. Nonetheless, Fury doing well. Emo Guy on the back of Spliff Master then. Once Emo Guy got up his locker. And Fury and Emo Guy into the pits. They're going for the undercut here, surely. So the only two in the pit so far. Everybody else looks like they're staying out. DJ Phil's near enough a lap down, so I'm not sure what he's doing. Emo Guy's away. Is Fury away? Yeah, they're both away then. Flash of the lights. Fury's got two fixed lights now, so he's not winking at us anymore. He's got two well-working lights, and that's Lodder who's just gone past. So Fury in P8, Emo Guy into P9 now then. So it's Gary from John Boy, Alvaro Alfonso P3 with Spliff Master in 4th, Smoky Devil in P5, X-Mark currently running in 6th. With Lodder, we've had a bit of a power cut here at Oulton Park. Lodder there now, you look, you see, P7. Fury flashing his lights, and Emo Guy flashing the lights in the middle of the power cut. There then, Fury P8, Emo Guy in P9, and DJ Phil into the pits then from P10. And I'll get his lights fixed. You see his lights are working now. So let's see who pits his laps. That's Emo Guy, Fury and DJ Phil pitted to the top 7. Yet to pit. It did this last week at Donington Park in the feature race. It glitched out just momentarily where you couldn't see some of the track in the dark. Gary 131 driving a better race this time round. Looks like he's going to put a lap on DJ. I know DJ Phil's just come out the pit lane now. Gary driving a good race so far at the minute. Emo Guy is gaining on the back of. We don't run teams here in motive racing, but pretty much same team liveries. Then Emo Guy on the back of Fury, just hassling him a little bit here. See the power cut really making life difficult for us commentators. And they're coming to Lodge, and they're going to come down to start their 10th lap. So only Fury, Emo Guy and DJ Phil still to pit. The others have stayed out this time around. And is Fury going to let Emo Guy through here, I wonder, into Old Hall Corner? Yep, Fury stays wide and lets Emo Guy through up the inside then. Going to stay side by side here. Good team racing this, good little battle in this between the two teammate drivers. Flash of the lights from both of them through the darkness here at Oulton Park International. I'm sure these guys will be loving it. Bit of a battle, bit of a flash of the lights. Nothing better than that, is there really? Lodder currently sat P7 just in front of these two then. 7 seconds up the road from Fury, 8 seconds behind X-Mark. So it's in a world of his own. X-Mark P6. He's just a second off the back of Smoky Devil. But is 8 seconds ahead of Lodder, so a good gap. Smoky Devil then P5. 2 seconds up the road, a second half up the road from X-Mark, but only 2 seconds behind Spliffmaster, so he's looking for a good run. Could he undercut Spliffmaster here to maybe get the benefit of an undercut? Spliffmaster 2 seconds ahead of Smoky Devil and 5.5 behind Avo Alfonso then. Avo Alfonso 3 seconds off the back of John Boy. See John Boy there just up front. John Boy 7.8 off the back of Gary 131. Really dominating this feature race here. Lap 11 of 24. So we're near enough for half race distance, and it's been Gary 131 who's just been so dominant. You see there the lights of DJ Philly's about to lap up front. Gary's just been in a world of his own in this race. He's made that one mistake we saw. Apart from that, hasn't really done anything else. Back to the battles though. X-Mark gaining on the back of Smoky Devil. Fury has let Emo Guy get through. Penalties at the minute for Avo Alfonso, Smoky Devil, Lodder, Emo Guy and DJ Phil. This the battle though for P5 at the minute. Still nobody else has pitted on track bar Emo Guy, Fury and DJ Phil. So we'll see when everybody else pits at the moment then. We're on lap 11. Gary has just lapped DJ Phil. I do believe. So has John Boy. So DJ Phil really struggling tonight, unfortunately for him. Not the night he'd have wanted then. Smoky Devil having a cracking feature race here. Really good stuff from Smoky Devil this. Oh, X-Mark just a bit later on the brakes, but couldn't get it stopped and turned in enough. Back on the car he goes now. He's doing well, his old X-Mark. Back to the pack for a while, but a few mistakes from other drivers have seen him end up mid-pack here. He's really gaining on Smoky Devil. Smoky Devil just taking a bit too much grass there, and X-Mark kind of copying him a bit. That Spliffmaster in front that they look like they're catching. If you're wondering why we're not on the normal trackside view, it's because the lights was glitching out and it was going all black and we couldn't see the cars. It might have sorted itself out now. In fact, yes, it looks like it has. So we can go back to the trackside action here then. As we can see, these boys really battling hard on the Oulton Park International Circuit. Still nobody's pitted yet. Lodder, from Lodder upwards, from P7 upwards, is the guys who's pitted. So still no pit stops yet then for any of the top 7. If you're Smoky Devil or X-Mark, would you not perhaps try the undercut over Spliffmaster? Maybe try and force him to make a pit stop, or just get the undercut, get yourself in some clear air and get the laps in ready for when he makes his pit stop then. I mean, obviously it's down to the drivers to decide what they want to do. It's down to the strategies that they come up with. See what strategies they can come up with here. Currently X-Mark on the back of Smoky Devil. Who's that? That's DJ Phil staying out of the way and off the track. He's only got one headlight against, so DJ Phil looks like he's been in the wars a bit here at Oulton Park this weekend, so not what we'd like to see. Obviously we would have loved to see all 10 drivers in a good battle here, but not what we want to see. I'm sure DJ Phil would want to be up there as well, racing and battling against these guys. X-Mark still hassling Smoky Devils within a second. The race leader's in the pits, so is anybody else going to react to this one? John Boy's going to come in as well. What about Avo Alfonso? So the front 2 pit here in the feature race, halfway through this race distance, and the front 2 pit. Avo Alfonso stays out on track. Has John Boy jumped Gary? No, by the time John Boy's in his box, Gary is away. Gary's only going to lose out to Avo Alfonso with the looks of things then. Here comes Spliffmaster, who hasn't pitted as well. Is Gary going to get out ahead of Spliffmaster? No, he's not. So Gary's going to drop down to P3, maybe P4 as this Smoky Devil. Can he get back up to racing speed before Smoky Devil comes past? No, he cannot, and has to back out of that one as Smoky Devil was up the inside. So Gary drops to P4, John Boy dropping down to P7. In fact, John Boy, who's he caught up with there? That's Lodder he's caught up with. Lodder is around, and John Boy caught up in a bit of dramas there as he's exited the pit lane. Caught up with Lodder. Lodder P7 just rejoining now ahead of this man Emo Guy. So Emo Guy's going to gain an extra place here. Emo Guy, Fury, don't forget, have pitted and haven't gained on John Boy or Gary much, or they'd have gained on John Boy a lot more there than what they'd have hoped, because of the fact that he's had a problem with an altercation with Lauder. So P7 Fremo guy, Fury on the back of Lauder now. Smoky Devil still on the back of X-Mart. I'm not sure what's happened to Gary, but Gary's been in the wars. He's only got one headlight. He's just in front of John Boy. He had a 5-second gap coming into the pits. He's now only got a 1-second gap to John Boy. Smoky Devil and X-Mart. In fact, Smoky Devil's off. So the Smoky Devil, he's in the middle of the track. He's managed to let John Boy and Gary get through. No traumas there. But Gary, another mistake maybe, or has he been involved in an altercation? Lap 13 of 24. Avo Alfonso leads the race here. Still yet to pit, so Spliffmaster, so's X-Mart, so is Lauder, so is Smoky Devil, who's down in P9 now. So he's had a really poor race. He's had a really good race, but that one mistake has cost him dearly there. I'm sure that's not what he would have wanted. But for this man, he's having to heavily defend from John Boy. Then Fury and Emo Guy have got past Smoky Devil, so did Lauder. Who's that coming in the pit? Smoky Devil's going to pit now then. Fury on the back of Lauder, still needs to get through here. Lauder still has not pitted in this feature race. We're on lap 14 of 24. The top three and Lauder still to pit. Fury's going to look up the inside of Lauder coming on the exit of Cascades, and that is an absolute cracking move from Fury there. He hasn't got the job done yet though. He's now in front, so now has the job done. Smoky Devil just exiting the pit lane. Avo Alfonso leads by 5 seconds here, so I'm not sure what happened to Gary, but he's got John Boy all over the back of him here. This not what Gary 131 wanted. He was cruising out in front, made a little mistake himself, managed to get the gap back to around 5-6 seconds. Let Smoky Devil through. We saw Lee let Smoky Devil through at Cascades as he exited the pit lane, and we didn't see what had happened to Gary. As we came back to Smoky Devil and X-Mart, Gary was well off the back, and look at John Boy all over the rear of Gary 131. What has Gary done to during his pit stop, or what happened to Gary after his pit stop? That it remains to be the question. But at the minute, he's got to hang tight because he's got John Boy all over the back of him then. John Boy pulls out here, and is he going to look down in towards Lodge Corner? Is he going to think of sending one up the inside? He thinks about it, but Gary makes sure he gets that job done. He keeps the door shut. A bit of a slide at the exit to the corner. Up through Deer Leaf he goes now then. Gary 131 really has got to get the pedal down. He may get that gap back to John Boy. It was about 5 or 6 seconds, like I say, but he's got to get it back then. He's really got to work hard for this one. There's Gary now. In fact, there's John Boy round the outside at Cascades. That's surely not going to work. He doesn't get it done. And John Boy had a bit of a slide there coming through Cascades. These two gaining on the back of X-Mart. So the top three and Lauder still not pitted. Smoky Devil has though. Spliffmaster, as Avo Alfonso made a mistake, so he had 5 seconds over Spliffmaster. That gap's come down to 0.8 of a second now then. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there. But for Avo Alfonso, really needs to keep going. Got to pit, so Spliffmaster, so is X-Mart, but Avo Alfonso has the time penalty. John Boy must have had a problem. He's dropped off the back of Gary, I notice here. Yeah. Alfonso has the time penalty, and so he's got to make sure he can pull enough of a gap to Spliffmaster. They've got 6 seconds back to X-Mart then. X-Mart still to pit as well. They've got 7.9 to Gary. Gary has pitted. So we'll have to see who can do what. But at the moment, it's Avo Alfonso ahead of Spliffmaster for the race lead so far. What lap do these guys think about coming in the pit lane? Well, it's not this lap. Gap 0.6 of a second now for the race lead, although like I keep saying, these guys have got to pit, so it's not going to be a case of, you know, when do they pit, when do they come out. It's a case of, do they pit the same lap? Who's going to go for the undercut? Who's going to try what here? That is the question. I suppose the other question is as well is, when does X-Mart pit? He could undercut these two here and think of getting an undercut done on these two. maybe allowing them to battle it out. Swiftmaster looks like he's had a bit of a slowdown. Gary's gained on the back of Xmart, and he's within a second of Xmart now, so Xmart should be under pressure from Gary 131 soon enough. The voice today is a bit croaky, I tell you what, in that much drama. We've seen a few okey-cokey moves from this man on screen. He wiggled it left, he wiggled it round. And I said in the sprint race, I said Gary makes one or two little mistakes that can cost him a race win or a podium. We've seen it before at Motive, we've seen it over at Simplay Motorsport, we've seen it where Gary races. Just one or two mistakes creep in, and he just makes the odd one, and then that's it. He kind of has a bit of a bad race. He seems to have to fight the car to struggle to get it back to where he wanted it to be, and it leads to a few more mistakes. But for right now, Gary doing a heck of a job. He's pulled away from John Boy and got the gap back to John Boy to 2.5 seconds, so that's where he wanted to be. Xmart's yet to pit. In fact, Xmart looks like he's coming in now, so maybe he listened about the undercut. Spliffmaster as well is in the pit, so Alfonso has stayed out on track then. John Boy will regain P3. Can Emo Guy get them? Yeah, Emo Guy up into P4 now. Good little gaggle of cars here. Lodder as well is in the pits, so can Smoky Devil gain on the back of the guys in the pit lane? Maybe not Spliffmaster and Xmart, but this man out front on his own. Gary P2, John Boy sits third, Emo Guy fourth, hunting John Boy down. Fury sits P5 at the moment. Spliffmaster out the pits into P6, Xmart in P7. Cameraman's yet to pick him up. There he is. Lodder then P8 as he exits the pits now. DJ Phil's unlapped himself from Lodder. Smoky Devil just coming around Old Hall, which is a bit behind Lodder after he made the mistake coming through Knickerbrook then. And DJ Phil currently running P10. Torrid time for DJ Phil tonight. The gap between Gary and Avu down to 5.2 seconds. When does this man pit? The only man to not pit yet. And we're Spliffmaster 26 seconds behind, Xmart 30 seconds behind, so he's got to pit, he's got to get that gap to these guys to come down, to either go up, come down slightly. Let's wait and see what Alfonso thinks of doing. Well, he's staying out to start lap 18. He's led most of this race as Alfonso. I was saying that Gary led 12. Gary's led most of this race. Actually, led 12 laps before he decided to come into the pits. A bit of a following in the chat. Ricardo Jimenez and Campos Game 1 telling him vamos in the chat earlier on in the qualifying session. But he's 18 laps in. That gap to Gary's 3.6. You just saw Gary in the background there. So Ava will see his light, because he's only got the one in the rear view mirror possibly, and he'll recognise that Gary's closing in. Yeah, coming down ever so quickly as he's heading towards the chicane just before Hilltop then. So let's look at how Avu's doing on board through the chicane then. Can kind of cut the exit a little bit there. Up over Hilltop we go, down towards Knickerbrook. So right chicane. You get a bit of a short straight here, look, but the exit to Knickerbrook comes up now. Bit of a lift off. Back on the throttle up through Clay Hill it we go. We're driving what we've seen so far from Alfonso. Been quite clinical so far. He's been very, very good in having to do what he's been doing, and what he's been doing has been so successful so far. He's coming into the pit lane now, so Avu's pitting then. Can he stay out? Gary will take the race lead. John Boy is going to inherit P2 at the moment, but Emo Guy, this is a battle we can keep our eye on. Emo Guy hunting down John Boy. Fury just comes out of Lodge as Alfonso in the pit box. Away he goes now. He's already got a time penalty, so he needs to make sure he's a bit in front of Spliffmaster, who's coming up over DLE. over the crest, down the start-finish straight. He's going to be into turn 1 as Avo Alfonso will be off the limiter. But who's going to have the better run? There's Alfonso, there's Spliff Master. So Alfonso looks like he's got the job done for now. But Spliff Master's going to come up the inside into Cascades and get that position then. So the undercut for Spliff Master has worked. The overcut that Alfonso was trying has not. So fortunately for him there, he's got it all to do again. He's got to do it and pull away from Spliff Master then, as he knows he's got to get the gap to the car. Because of the time penalty he's got. Xmot down in P7, Smoky Devil still down in 9th place. It's the only real battle on track at the moment, as we are on lap 19 of 24. Spliff Master from Avo Alfonso. Alfonso has that time penalty, like I say. One gap to keep an eye on is P2 and 3. John Boy and Emo Guy. Smoky Devil has just got past Lodder, as Lodder's made a mistake then coming out towards the hairpin. DJ Phil has unlapped himself there. I'm sure DJ Phil would have wished that was for position, but not to be. The battle I said that's coming down to within a second is now under a second. Emo Guy, John Boy's just picked himself up a time penalty as well. Now these guys will be able to see what time penalties each other have. So this isn't what they're wanting here. For Gary, the gap's only 2 seconds. In fact, that gap's coming down. So has Gary got a slowdown penalty? Because he's really slow. Lost a lot of time coming through turn 1. And Emo Guy and John Boy then, this is the battle to watch as we head into lap 20 of 24. Coming through Cascades now. In fact, you could possibly watch Gary in this battle because it's not over between the top 3. The bonus for Gary is he's not got a time penalty compared to John Boy and Emo Guy. That is his only saving grace. I'm sure Emo Guy would love to make it 2 wins from 2. So we'll have to wait and see if he does. But at the moment it's Gary from John Boy, Emo Guy, Fury, Spliff Master, X Marty's got past Avo Alfonso, Smoky Devil, Lodder and DJ Phil. Let's just jump on board the roof camera of Emo Guy then. I'm sure he'd love to be on the back of that John Boy Renault Megane. John Boy gaining on Gary actually a little bit here. Gap down to 1.2 seconds, so Gary looks like he's made a couple of mistakes again. That's costing him, it's really hurting him, is this? For Gary 131, it's really hurting him here. 1.2 is the gap, and I'm sure he'd love it to be a bit bigger at the moment, but it's just not. It's not there for Gary 131 right now. He's had it up, he's had it down tonight. He's just he seems to get a good gap where he's comfortable and then just makes a little mistake himself, gets a slowdown penalty or so. And it just all goes again. He's then got to do the work all over again, and I feel this is what's going to let Gary down this season potentially. The gap is under a second. You see Emo Guy in the background just losing a bit of touch to John Boy at the moment, but it's Gary 131 who's got to get the job done. Didn't look like he got the run out of Old Hall Corner. In fact, look, he didn't. The time has come down no end, and John Boy's right on the back now with Gary 131. Lap 21 of 24. So 3 laps remaining here, and John Boy flashing Gary there then. Gary 131 in all sorts of strife. As we're coming towards the back end of this race, X-Mark gaining on the back of Spliff Master, and Gary's got to keep a cool head. He's got to know that the cars behind have time penalties. He needs to make sure that he can keep them there, or if not, stick with them if that's the case. Emo Guy's not gained on this battle like we thought he would. He was all over the back of John Boy at one stage. He's still 3 seconds off the back of John Boy now. I think he had a slowdown at one point, and maybe that's why he's not caught on the back. He was 2 seconds slower than John Boy last lap, only 4 tenths slower than Gary. So Gary losing time to the cars behind him at the moment. 6 tenths the gap between Gary and John Boy. We've seen John Boy be on the back of him and then drop back and come back to Gary again. And this is the 3rd time tonight John Boy's been on the rear end of that BMW. And I'm sure he'd just love to put his car in front of that one. I'm sure he'd love to make his the lead car in this race, and if he could possibly gap Gary 131. Gary just looks like he's again edging out that gap towards John Boy. Gap down to 2 tenths again. So Gary, just little mistakes coming through turn 1 through Old Hall. That BMW just doesn't seem to, he's either not getting the grip or Gary's making a little mistake. I'm not quite sure, but either way, Gary really struggling here, and John Boy has found 0.3 of a second in the last sector to really put himself on the back here. Lap 22 or 24, so 3 laps to go now. Emo Guy's slowly gaining on these two. It was a lot quicker last time around. John Boy again flashing Gary 131. And the thing is, the flashes are worse at night. The lights are even brighter. Gary in that cockpit will be pleading for John Boy to get a slowdown or make a mistake. He'll want him off the back. That is for sure. John Boy turns the lights on and puts them back on. That is a bit cheeky from John Boy there, to be honest. But sure, that's all in good fun, all in good spirit. Gary's just again pulled a couple of tenths out in the middle sector, and they've pulled a bit of time out over Emo Guy as well. So I think Emo Guy might be settling for a third place here, or might be hoping that these guys are going to come to blows. Gary again finding more time in this final sector then. Excuse me. Just that gap going back up to 0.7 of a second. As they cross the line now then, John Boy again with another flash of the lights. 0.8 of a second the gap's up to. John Boy knows this is where Gary's been struggling. Oh, he's had a big wiggle there, is Gary. He's onto the grass. And is this going to be a slowdown penalty? A massive wiggle at the exit of Old Hall. And a horrible moment, just cannot get turn 1 done. And Gary has a slowdown penalty that he is serving and will let John Boy through. Now he's got to stick to the back of John Boy, because if John Boy gets a big enough gap in these final 2 laps, Gary will lose this race. So a mistake from Gary 131 yet again that's costing him even more time here in this one. Emo Guy's now 2.2 seconds off the back of the leaders. So he's really trying to gain on him. Gary flashing his lights now. It's his turn to flash John Boy. Absolute scenes here. Gary that made such time up through the middle and final sector for it to all go wrong at turn 1 again. And then serves the slowdown penalty coming through Cascades onto the Lakeside Straight. Terrible place to serve it. Emo Guy's within a second of Gary. Gary's just within a second of John Boy. So there's 3 for the lead as we head on to the final lap, as we're going to come on to the final lap of the race anytime soon. So a great race here. You just get the feeling that has Gary possibly chucked this one away? He has now! He has now! He's slid off into the wall and will rejoin P3. Has John Boy got enough penalties to keep in front of Gary? Does Emo Guy have enough penalties to keep in front of Gary? Gary has threw it away, penultimate corner on the final lap, on the penultimate lap, and has dropped in 1 lap first to third and is 4 seconds off the leaders. You could not write this stuff then. Gary 131 has really struggled in the latter stages of this race, and he's really struggling. Avu on within a second of Xmart for P6. Xmart has a penalty. So does John Boy, Emo Guy, Avu, Alfonso, Xmart, Smokey Devil, Lodder and DJ Phil all have time penalties. Fury, Spliffmaster and Gary do not. There's a battle for P6. 0.8 of a second between the 2 drivers. At the moment, have we just seen Gary throw away the race win? That'd be a travesty if he has done. 4.4 off the leaders then is Gary 131. Now the lead cars coming up through towards Knickerbrook now. This the battle for P6. 0.8 of a second between the 2 drivers. Avo Alfonso P7 and this man Xmart in P6, but Avo Alfonso's all kinds of wide there. That'll surely be a slowdown, as he probably kept his foot in. He didn't seem like he dropped off too much there. So Avo Alfonso, maybe another penalty coming his way now. It looks like he served a slowdown as he's dropping slowly off the back of Xmart then. So the right thing he's done there as Avo Alfonso. But what scenes here. John Boy then leads this race and he's coming into large. He's got 1 second advantage over Emo Guy, but what's the penalties going to do? It's going to be John Boy who crosses the line to finish first on track. Emo Guy's going to come home second, but Emo Guy jumps John Boy for the win. So a back-to-back wins for Emo Guy. Gary does only take P3, so he's thrown it away at the last minute. Fury, a bit of a quiet one from him after a good and then poor start. Made up places to then make a mistake and drop down the order. He's going to come out to take a P4. Flash of the lights, he's happy with that one. Spliff Master's going to come home in 5th place then. Good drive from him. For 6th place for Spliff Master. X-Mart has fended off Avo Alfonso for P6, but we'll see on the penalties in just a moment. Alfonso crosses the line and stays P7. Lodder has got past Smoky Devil on the last lap. And down towards Lodge Corner he comes now then. Around Lodge Corner. Does Lodder stay ahead of Smoky Devil? Yes, he does. So P9 and 8. Lodder P8, Smoky Devil P9. We are just waiting on DJ Phil, who's coming up Clay Hill now. He's got Druids and Lodge Corner to go. Gary's just commented saying, oops. Big oops indeed, as he lost it all on his own. How many times have we said tonight that Gary just makes 1 or 2 mistakes that just cost him the race wins or podiums? It's cost him the race win here, but hats off to Emo Guy. A sprint race and a feature race win, both from mid-pack on the qualifying. So on a race 2 he qualified up the sharp end, didn't he? But hats off to him, he's drove absolutely fantastic. Cracking job. DJ Phil's going to finish this race this time round, so a good job for DJ Phil. But it's Emo Guy, your feature race and sprint race winner. Oh, Gary did do John Boy, so Gary got P2 over John Boy. It didn't change on my timing screens, but Gary did do John Boy in the end, as John Boy had a 5-second penalty. Fury in 4th, Spliff Master 5th, X-Mart P6th with Avo Alfonso 7th, Lodder 8th, Smoky Devil 9th and DJ Phil in P10. Cracking drive from Emo Guy for 2 wins tonight. It's been a pleasure having everybody in the stream. We'll see you tomorrow night for the GTEs here at Motive Racing, which I think Andy takes you through that. And then I'm back on Tuesday night with Andy for the Renault Clio Cup, Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. So make sure you tune in tomorrow and Tuesday. But from all of us here at Same Play Motorsport, all of you take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Good night.